Today I want to talk about a movie called Last Night in Soho. It's a kind of giallo style horror mystery by Edgar Wright, who is a really, really good director. I think we can all agree that even if you don't like all his stuff, which I don't personally like all his stuff, you have to say things how they are. Edgar Wright is just a very talented director, especially when it comes to the visuals and the kind of like very fast-paced storytelling. Edgar Wright is one of the best kind of visual directors working today, I think. So the idea of him doing kind of a giallo, kind of horror movie seemed interesting to me. Like I said, I didn't like all his movies ever. I like the Cornetto trilogy fine. I really, really liked Scott Pilgrim. Didn't like Baby Driver at all. So it's kind of a mixed bag kind of thing. But on the whole, I like him. What is this movie about? It's about this girl, this young girl who lives kind of outside of London. She moves to London to study fashion. She's got some issues where she has like visions and stuff, and she finds it hard to differentiate between reality and the kind of dream world that she's kind of living with. The kind of world in the mirror. Like sometimes she looks in the mirror and she sees her dead mother or something. So there's the weird stuff going on with that girl. But anyway, she moves to London, finds some dorm, in the fashion school, and right away she's really kind of like out of sync with everybody, especially the other girls who are very kind of mean to her and very selfish and very bitchy. There is one guy who is very nice to her, but she's very reluctant to get close to him at first because she doesn't know him. He's just some guy who's just kind of in the school here. Obviously, as life becomes more and more difficult for her in London, in Soho, she finds a place to live in Soho, and things go from bad to worse. You've got an interesting cast here. You've got Terrence Stamp in there. You've got Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays the girl that the main girl becomes at night. So I'll get into that. You also have Diana Rigg, really, really good actress from back in the day, who is back in this movie. The main girl, by the way, is played by Thomasin McKenzie, who I've seen a couple of times in a couple of movies, and she was pretty good so far. Like, she has kind of a weird face, like a weird kind of like a little cat kind of face. So she's instantly recognizable, which I think is why we're going to see her in lots of movies. She's going to become kind of pretty much as big as Anya Taylor-Joy. They're both going to become like really, really huge actresses because they both look very interesting and they're both very good at blending into new roles. They're very versatile. And so when Thomasin McKenzie's character, moves to that little apartment in Soho because she doesn't want to be in the dorm anymore because those girls are too annoying. So she moves to some little apartment in Soho, owned by Diana Rigg's character. And at night, when she kind of falls asleep, she becomes this girl who's like walking around Soho, in very glamorous clothing, going to clubs and stuff. In the 60s or something, like in the 1960s. Suddenly she's transported into a mirror universe in the 1960s. And the girl that she kind of becomes, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, she is trying to kind of get some kind of entertainment kind of career going in London. And so she's kind of schmoozing, talking to people, etc., trying to network a little bit. She meets this guy played by Matt Smith. Matt Smith, who is very good in this movie, by the way. But that guy is not all that he seems. He's kind of he's got some layers to him, not very good ones. So she finds gradually that Soho is kind of not a good place, and you've got a lot of dodgy people taking advantage of her. To the point where she basically, she becomes a prostitute, she becomes used by all these like rich men and stuff. Thomasin McKenzie's character is trying to figure out what is going on because at some point she really can't differentiate between what is going on? Like, did this actually happen to someone in the past? Is this happening now? Is she becoming this woman? What is happening? So, the mystery is very good, I think. Edgar Wright does not disappoint with the visuals in this movie. This is a gorgeous looking film. It just looks incredible from the beginning. Whenever you go into that mirror world, you've got some, stunning shots, very clever, camera movements and camera angles, and just the way everything is shot is fantastic. Edgar Wright definitely, even the pacing of the film is excellent, very good pacing to the film. He is just really, really talented. And the costume designers have done an awesome job as well, because the fashion kind of theme, really required some kick-ass costumes, and they really delivered on that front. The music, I like how the main theme is downtown, which is given kind of a sinister vibe. It does feel like it could be kind of a Dario Argento kind of deal. It's got some really, some really interesting aspects to it. I like how, she becomes haunted by these ghosts, by these men who took advantage of Anya Taylor-Joy's character, and they're depicted as zombies, basically. It's weird. Like, it starts off as a giallo, continues and becomes like this kind of weird zombie movie, zombie ghost movie. And then comes the third act. And the third act kind of sucks, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. The third act kind of ruined the movie for me. So it goes from, like I said, a giallo, Dario Argento style giallo, to this kind of like zombie ghost movie, which is interesting. And then you end up with a psycho biddy, whatever happened to Baby Jane kind of deal, but not really fleshed out, just kind of like a last minute kind of thing they wanted to do. Because this movie, I feel, when they were writing this movie, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner where they had all this build up to this. Okay, she gets these like weird dreams, and then she's haunted by the dreams. She can't differentiate between reality, not reality, da 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 da. Then what happens? And that's where they got completely stuck. You've got the whole Halloween sequence in the movie, which is a well done sequence. But after that, the movie finds itself completely lost with no place to go. And it's really sad, because everything up to that point was really, really quite good. I was buying it. And honestly, I didn't even really need a big twist, I didn't need a big twist. And this movie really wanted to have a big twist. And the twist that it provides is so freaking obvious. It's so freaking obvious, and so, I don't want to say it's badly done. I don't want to say that it's cheesy, although it is. You see it coming a mile away, and it's just like very disappointing, anticlimactic ending to this movie. Like, the whole third act is really like that. The whole third act, you see the movie just kind of slowly crumble. It's like, oh, it turns out you didn't know where this was going either. And the audience can tell. I could tell that when they were writing this movie, they got to the end and they kind of rushed it, really. And it's a shame, because like I said, amazing visuals, amazing build-up, amazing everything. Everyone, performance-wise, is on point. From Thomasin McKenzie to Anya Taylor-Joy to Matt Smith to Terrence Stamp, who is really good in this movie, playing a very sinister role, to Diana Rigg. Diana Rigg gets a big part in this movie. I thought she was going to play like a very small cameo kind of part, but she has an important role in this movie, and she's good. It's just, man, what a shame. Yeah, this movie needed a better final act, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Nightmare Alley, which is another movie that's kind of an old-fashioned kind of movie, right? That kind of shit the bed right at the end, where you're just kind of like, you don't give a fuck. By the time he gets to the third act, you're like, I give up on this. Like, this clearly, they didn't really know where this was going. So, and it's weird, because Nightmare Alley actually had like another movie, like it's a remake, to kind of play around with. But yeah, I don't know. This movie kind of let me down at the end. However, I would still say it's worth a look. for the Edgar Wrightness of it all, and for the cast and the visuals. I think it's worth a look. Just don't expect to be blown away by the end. What are you gonna do? How many horror movies, how many giallos actually have like a really good ending? There's some good Dario Argento endings out there. This isn't one of them. This really felt like they were trying to do Psycho at the end for no apparent reason, and it just didn't work for me. And I don't think it's gonna work for you either, honestly. I think even people who really praise this movie and really love this movie, if they're honest with themselves, you know, if you push them hard enough, like they will admit that just like that third act is just kind of a waste. Yeah, it's a very uneven movie. It's got some good stuff in there. That's all I can say. So I'm not gonna be too harsh and be like, don't watch this movie. It's not worth it. It's worth a look. Okay, just kind of by the time you kind of feel the twist coming on, just you can shut it off. There's nothing more to see there. But yeah, it was a nice idea, nice concept, nice build up. Like I said, it just I wish it had built up to something a little bit better. And this movie, you know, it was a flop. This movie lost money. I mean, I believe it got released during the pandemic, so you can't really make too much of that. But I get it. I get it. If people went to see this movie and the word of mouth was not that great, I get it. I'll just say that. So, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next review on the website.